Hi, everybody. As Dot has said, my name is Lauren Clinch, and I am a production editor here at AM. I am delighted to say that Interwar Culture 1930 to 1939 published last month, which concludes the Interwar Culture resource. This is such an exciting and interdisciplinary project, aiming to support research into the lives, experiences, and events of the 1930s through the periodicals that both captured and shaped its popular consciousness. This is the second of two modules, the first of which covered the years 1919 to 1929 and was published in February last year, so you may already be familiar with it. This also concludes AM's first ever resource consisting entirely of periodicals, and I think it is safe to say that it is an absolute treasure trove. These periodicals have been digitized from 5 source archives across the UK, America, and Australia. That's the British Library, New York Public Library, Liverpool John Moores University, the magazine publisher Future plc, and the State Library of New South Wales based in Sydney. There are complete runs of available material within our date range, with a very small number of exceptions, only where the volumes either aren't in a stable enough condition to be digitized, or they're simply missing from the original archival collection. This means that we have a fantastic 487 volumes presented in this module alone, and that brings both modules combined to a total of 868 bound volumes. This includes continuations of titles found in the first module, such as American Magazine, The Strand, and Homes and Gardens, as well as 18 exciting new additions, such as the ones you see here: Armchair Science, Mystery, the Illustrated Detective Magazine, and The Superman, amongst so many more. As I've previously mentioned, this is a vastly interdisciplinary resource. If you're at all familiar with the first module, you will probably recognize the same 10 key research themes into which the material is categorized. These aim to broadly reflect a very turbulent and dynamic decade, which saw, just as an example, the Spanish Civil War, the infamous Emu War in Australia, the violent end of Bonnie and Clyde, the first ever women's cricket test match, the rise of Nazi Germany and fascist Italy, the abdication of Edward, the Duke of Windsor, from the British throne, and of course, the outbreak of the Second World War. And on a somewhat lighter note, also the screen debuts of Betty Boop, Dracula, and King Kong. Now, the presentation of periodicals in Interwar Culture make it quite unlike any other periodical resource currently available online. It is highly browsable, with material presented as close to original reading order as possible. You can choose the browsing style that best suits your research, whether that's by periodical or by individual issues if you prefer a more granular approach. All of the volumes are fully sectioned, allowing you to jump between issues with a click. And we also have fully clickable contents lists, as you see in this slide, that will take you directly to your chosen article. What's more, we also have a literary contributor search tool, allowing you to easily search the periodicals by key authors of the period, such as P.G. Wodehouse, Virginia Woolf, and D.H. Lawrence, among over 2,000 others. All of this combined is designed to make the periodicals as browsable and user-friendly as possible for brand new students and experienced researchers alike. Now, on to my favorite part. I get to talk about some of my highlights. When the first module of Interwar Culture published last year, I highlighted its literature and its fashion illustrations as highlights of the resource. And while those are very much still at the forefront of Interwar Culture's appeal in this new module, I wanted to take the opportunity to draw attention now to its children's interest content. Here you can see that we have 4 fantastic children's titles of the interwar period: Chums, Schoolgirls Weekly, The Modern Boy, and Peg's Paper. Not only do they offer up some fantastic children's literature, but these periodicals are excellent research tools for those studying childhood culture. And as a great deal of scholarship to date has focused on the Victorian era, they represent an excellent and so far largely untapped research opportunity. And I'm really pleased to say that these titles are also accompanied by a brilliant video interview with Dr. Beth Rogers of Aberystwyth University. Periodicals. Another highlight not to be missed is Interwar Culture's movie content. This new module boasts some excellent film periodicals from the US and the UK, such as Cinema Quarterly and World Film News and Television Progress. These titles chart the evolving technologies and trends of the nascent movie industry, as well as providing a fascinating insight into the growing celebrity culture of the era. You'll also see plenty of movie content scattered throughout other titles, including ephemera such as free gifts and photocards, interviews with the stars, and beauty tips on how to look like your favorite actresses. And to complement these periodicals, we have an essay from Professor Charlene Register at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, exploring the evolution of Black stereotypes on the silver screen. Now I would like to touch on one final highlight, which is Interwar Culture's political content. I think it goes without saying that the politics of the 1930s were turbulent, to say the very least, and we have a wide range of periodicals spotlighting those twists and turns, from the conservative US publication Pulse of the Nation on the left there, through British socialist title Left Review, to the French nonconformist magazine Le Crapulot, born in the trenches of World War I, and several more. Now, with these titles, you can view the current affairs of the decade through multiple lenses and uncover some truly fascinating first-hand perspectives. These are also accompanied by an essay from Professor Aristotle Kallis of Kiel University on the rise of fascism throughout Europe and the rest of the world. That is all from me. So thank you everyone for your time, and I hope that you are now as excited about Interwar Culture as I am.